Brenda at this point. So we'll see what happens. And who do you think is going to make a cameo? LVP? Do you think she's going to pop in? Kathy? Let me know what you guys think. But before you do that, and stick around, Candy Canes, because we got a couple of more stories to go. But before you do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. And also be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. And check out the description box down below and join our newsletter. It is free, and I send you a lot of great self-care content, maybe once a week or every 2 weeks or so. So go ahead and sign up. So with that, let's dive into our next story. And shout out to all my candy canes in the chat box. I see you guys. Mwah, happy Monday. I love you. All right, let's go. So this is Brandi Glanville shares the last text message to Lisa Vanderpump. And this is from Reality Blurb. Claims she's owed $560,000. Brandi, you need to go to rehab and sit down and shut up, girl. Insists ex Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-star, quote, ruined her life. Plus, she talks being a happy drunk before the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip scandal. By the way, Brandi still has yet to take any accountability in that scandal, which is absolutely crazy. She actually did the opposite. She came out and said she's completely innocent, consider the source, this, that, and the third. If you're so innocent, why did they fire you? Why did they literally have you pack your bags and fly home? If you're so innocent, why did Caroline feel so traumatized that she left? And she still hasn't spoken out publicly. So what's really good, Brandi? If you're so innocent, then how come the Peacock executives and producers called you out for saying to one of the producers, are you gonna F me tonight? I know if I was wasted and in front of coworkers and bosses and executives, and I yelled out, are you going to F me tonight to one of my bosses, I'm pretty sure I'd be fired. Yeah. And Peacock executives told on you. And the only reason why they told on you, Brandi, was because you had no humility. Remember when she tweeted out, consider the source, and then she did the poop emoji? And they were like, oh, consider the source, Brandi? Well, here you go. We're going to really tell what's really good. And that's when they came out with the second story about her saying, are you going to F me tonight to one of the producers? Girl, bye. All right, here we go. Brandi Glanville addressed giving lap dances when drunk, her firing from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and the demise of her friendship with Lisa Vanderpump. She also shared her thoughts on why she lost touch with Kim Richards, and she discussed who was the sloppiest drunk on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2. Now, that is not the season that she got kicked out from. This is a different season. Okay, let's go. In an interview for the Behind the Velvet Rope with David Yontief podcast, recorded before she filmed the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 4, Brandi shared that she can only be herself. So this is all prior to her meltdown and sexually assaulting people in Morocco. So this is before that, okay? She says, I've really never been an actress, so I really don't know how to do anything other than myself. If I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink. And I think a lot of people are afraid to let that side show where I'm not. If we're at a party, and especially when I'm stressed and anxious about having a fight, I'm having like Chardonnay. I'm having like Chardonnay is my best friend in the room, she said. Okay, side note, and in all seriousness, like no tea, no shade, that is a sign of having a problem with alcohol. If you cannot get through anxious or stressful situations without drinking, that is a sign of a dependency. Like, again, this kind of goes into the question that we've been asking about liability, whether it's legal or moral. When you know someone has a problem with either alcohol or prescription pills or drugs, and you're supplying them with said alcohol. Like, I'm not saying that the producers supply them with drugs or pills. Like, no, I don't think that. I think the ladies have their own supply, as they themselves have said. So I'm not making this up. This is what they have said themselves. But they do supply them with a crap ton of alcohol. At the end of the day, they're all adults, though. They're all adults. They're making the choice to drink. But also at the end of the day, you know somebody has an addiction. I don't know. You know, the lines are murky. The lines are murky. But let's keep going. Brandi responded to the host's opinion that she's, quote, a good drunk. I am a happy drunk. I will give you a lap dance, she said. I like to have fun, and it's not, you know, I don't hide the fact that I get drunk. When I pass out in my clothes, I know I had a really good night because there's no getting that dress off. She later said of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2, so not the season she got fired from. We're here to have a party, and I'm not going to sit around and not drink. I'm on vacation. No, Brandi, you're at work. And the location of your work is a vacation set. You're not on vacation. You're at work because you're actually being paid to be there. You have co-workers who are your, quote, co-stars. You have executives and you have producers. You have the boom people. You have sound. You have lighting. You're at work. It just so happens the set that you're working at is a vacation set, but you're not on vacation. That's why you got fired. If you were on vacation, there's nobody there to fire you. That's the whole problem. You got to realize you're not on vacation. You're working. Girl. She also called Lala Kent from Vanderpump Rules hot when asked who's at the top of her list. Lala's been on my podcast before and she's stunning. And I know she's down to roll. I mean, she has been with girls before is what I mean, said the star. Not that I want that to happen, but you're asking me to pick someone. Yeah, and I think she would make a great housewife. She is naughty and she's beautiful and sexy. Why not? See, I don't think Lala would make a good housewife. You know, I don't think, because I just don't think, I think Lala is great for reality TV. I think she's great for Vanderpump Rules. And I think for a different type of show, like I would love to see Lala Kent and Kristen Quinn. So if they come out with this show, I want residuals, okay? Time stamped. I said this on my channel first. I would love a show with Lala Kent and Christine Quinn from Selling Sunset and their friends. That would be a whole vibe. You know what I mean? Young, beautiful girls, super rich, in their early 30s. You know, they both have kids, but they're still dipping it and doing it. That would be a whole vibe. But I don't think that they're the right vibe for housewives. Everybody doesn't have to be on the housewife show. Can we get some new shows? You know, what the hell? Can we get some new shows? Everybody doesn't have to be a housewife. All right, let's keep going. She also mentioned Sierra Miller from Summer House because she's, quote, perfect. At one point, Brandi told Taylor Armstrong to go F yourself for previously claiming Brandi was an outsider on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and everyone else was good friends before she joined. Well, that's true. You know, are you just in your feelings, Brandi? You know, Taylor told no lies. Anyway, she goes, were they really good friends? The answer is no. They became TV friends, and I'm not an outsider. I've lived here longer than Taylor, probably half of them. I've lived here for 27 years, she said. Go F yourself, Taylor. I mean, we're friends now, but it's just not the truth. Actually, they were friends before because that's how the Housewives first started. They really did get groups of women who were friends. Obviously, as the show continued and evolved, they started adding in more people and, you know, the relationships were a little bit more contrived, a little bit more manufactured. But the way the Housewives started out, they were friends. Maybe they became enemies after the show, but girl, bye. She also addressed her previous comment claiming that castmate Lisa Vanderpump ruined her life and why she thinks it happened. Brandi, you cannot be the perpetual victim. What did Lisa Vanderpump do to you except for try to be a friend to you? And you turned around and slapped her in her face. And after you slapped her, you tried to make out with her. And then you turned on her and threw her under the bus for people who were never your friends in the first place. Where are your friends now, Brandi? Where's Lisa Rinna? Where's Kyle? Where's Erica? Where's whoever? Where are the people that you turned your back on Lisa Vanderpump for? Where are they for you now? I'll wait. Okay. When I said that Lisa was, God forbid, manipulative, that is like, sorry, not a big horrible thing she shared. I know a lot of manipulative people that are my friends. So when I said that, I didn't think it was going to be the end of the line for me. If you cross Lisa, she does not get over it. She will come for you for years to come. She will try to ruin your businesses, try to make sure that you're irrelevant and you don't get jobs. It's almost like she will always have negative things to say about me for the rest of my life. Brandi, shut up. I'm so confused as to how the reason you became kind of like a non-factor is Lisa Vanderpump's fault. You are the one who was getting blind drunk. You are the one who was slapping people. You are the one who was calling names and telling Joyce, Black people can't swim. You are the one who was throwing your wine in Eileen Davis's face. You are the one who was being sexually inappropriate all of the time. How is that Vanderpump's fault? Brandi, you got to grow up. That's why you got fired from Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, because you failed to take accountability for yourself. And I forgot to say this. When she's like, oh, I'm a happy drunk, I kiss and give lap dances. The problem is, if the person does not want them, that's not being a happy drunk. That's being someone who is assaulting somebody else. Just because you want to kiss someone and you want to give somebody a lap dance does not mean that they consent to that. And that is what the problem is. Grow up. All right, let's keep going. Brandi also shared her reactions to Lisa's eventual firing. I was so effing happy. Are you joking? Like that bee, she continued to try to ruin my life, and we won't go into what she had her minions doing to me, she said. But when finally I said she was manipulative, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, yes, she is, she couldn't handle that she was imperfect. So when she didn't show up for the reunion, I knew that she wouldn't show up and she wouldn't allow herself to be fired. It had to be her quitting prior to the reunion because it had to be her decision, which, I think she was gone anyway, and she knows that. So that's why she didn't show up. See, I don't agree with that. I think Vanderpump wanted to leave, and that's why she didn't show up. Like, why would Bravo fire Lisa Vanderpump? That doesn't make any sense. She had Vanderpump Rules, and then also after she left, she got her spinoff, Vanderpump Pups or whatever it was, the short-lived dog show, and then she had another spinoff, like the dinner parties and stuff, all with NBC, because I think it was on Peacock, right, or something like that. Maybe it was on Bravo, I'm not sure, but one of the two. So she was still with NBC. The reason why they let her go was because she didn't come to the reunion. Shut up, Brandi. Okay, here we go. When asked to explain why she believes Lisa would have been fired anyway, Brandi answered, it would have been my situation all over again. She had no friends on the show. She screwed everyone. She was on an island now. So for her to come back, it wouldn't have made sense. And so instead of getting fired, she quit first. Again, that doesn't make any sense, Brandi, but let's keep going. Brandi said she sometimes sees Lisa's vehicle. I see her car at the Glen Center because I have my P.O. box there, and she has a stupid license plate, which we all know it's her. And I'm like, F, I don't want to get my mail right now. But then I'll drive around the block and then they let me in the back and I grab my mail. I actually reached out to her when she fell off her horse because, she's an older woman. And no offense, we're all getting older. It happens to the best of us. But for her too, I think she broke her back. That's insane. So I just sent her a message because at the end of the day, I'm not a bad person and I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to her health. Brandi, you're a mess. First of all, Lisa Vanderpump did not break her back. She broke her leg. And if you think this woman is the reason why your whole entire life is ruined, but yet you're still thirsty for her attention, that you're still reaching out to her, make it make sense, Brandi. Which is it? Is she this diabolical, evil manipulator who ruined your entire life, ruined all of your businesses, got you fired from the show? She's so evil? Or is she someone that you miss and you regret ruining the friendship? And so you reached out to her when she was vulnerable and hurt as a way to see if you could get back into her life. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. She added, Would I like to see her lose some money? Yes. I just told her, I want you to know I'm thinking about you. I heard about your accident via email. And I was just like, get well soon kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, we did have a friendship. And if that happened to anyone that I knew personally for that long, I would reach out. Shut up, Brandi. According to Brandi, Lisa did not respond. Lisa was like, and you're ghosted. Blocked and ghosted. Left on red. The podcast host added that she'd resume the friendship if Lisa comes to me and gives me like $560,000. I'm not going to get into why it's that number and says, I'm sorry, I tried and says, I'm sorry I tried to trash all of your businesses and please accept my dearest regret and apologies. Otherwise, nope. Later on, Brandi claimed she should have been paid a lot of effing money for her appearance in the first episode of Vanderpump Rules. I do know that Lisa knew what she was doing by giving Sheena Shea, Brandi's ex-husband, alleged mistress, come up to me. So that denial of Lisa's is just an effing lie. And I can't believe someone would do that to a friend. She plans everything. Now, I don't know the specifics around it, but I heard that Brandi was in some type of lawsuit. And she had asked Lisa Vanderpump to be a witness or something like that. And Lisa either said something that Brandi didn't like that affected the lawsuit, or Lisa didn't show up. Something like that. I don't know the exact specifics. So I don't know if that's why she's coming up with this $560,000 K, or if that money is tied to, the Sheena Shea, Brandi Glanville showdown that basically ushered in Vanderpump Rules. That was sort of like their gateway. Now, do I think Lisa Vanderpump knew what was going to happen between Brandi and Sheena? Hell yeah, she knew. But you also know who knew? Production. So I don't know why Brandi is blaming Lisa Vanderpump for that. We all know how production works. We're going to bring this person in. You don't say we're doing that, blah, 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 blah. Like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Let's keep going. She suggested Lisa basically begged her to sit down and talk to Sheena. And I said no a million times until I finally was like, F it. I'll do it for you, Lisa. Sheena and I are fine now, but like at the time, the last thing I wanted to do was sit down with one of Eddie's girlfriends. So she did give you the heads up and you knew it. When asked if she's forgiven another alleged mistress, singer Leanne Rimes, who is now Eddie's wife, Brandi answered, I forgive all of the drama that her and I went through, and the one thing I will never forgive either one of them for is missing out on half of my children's life because we ended up sharing the kids 50-50, and I missed out on half of their lives. What? That doesn't make sense. That's not how 50-50 works, sweetheart. And that's not, just because you have shared custody doesn't mean you miss out on half of somebody's life. And if that was the case, look at how many people are divorced sharing custody in this world, or never even married and still sharing custody. Brandi, shut up. And that's not what any mother signs up to do when they get married and have kids. Like, oh, please let me just give up my body and have my babies taken away from me. Speaking of the past, Brandi denied that her friendship with Kim Richards ended over a photo she allegedly took of Kim after a surgery. Where's the picture? Brandi asked. I would never do that to anyone, especially not a friend, and show me the picture. You know what I'm talking about. There's just no picture. I think the pandemic was really hard. I ended up driving her to the hospital during the pandemic when I wouldn't see anyone. And then we got into an argument because I didn't want to pick her up because she'd been in the hospital. And I was like, it was the beginning of the pandemic. And like in an emergency room, I can't pick you up because I have kids. Now, this is new. I never heard the whole picking up an emergency room rumor. Anyway, then she goes on to say, and then that was an argument, she continued. So I think the pandemic we just kind of lost touch a little bit, as I did with a lot of other friends as well, but she's going to be my family for life and my kids love her. Regarding the alleged picture, Brandi added, I think it must have been somebody else posting a picture, but it definitely wasn't me. Side note, my theory on why they had the falling out, Brandi and Kim, I don't think it had anything to do with the picture, and I sure as hell don't think it had anything to do with the pandemic. I think it had to do with Brandi, again, being willing to do anything to see if she could get back on the show. to get her diamond back. Because right around the same time, Kim Richards and Brandi had their falling out, and Brandi was publicly going against Kim, was around the same time people were saying, who should come back to the show for Beverly Hills? What's going on with casting? Who are the OGs we should bring back? And all of a sudden, Kyle Richards was like, let's bring Brandi back. She's a truth teller. Erica Jane said, it would be great to have Brandi to come back. Lisa Rinna was like, let's have Brandi come back. Boring Teddy Mellencamp, who can't even get herself back on the show, on her podcast was like, let's bring Brandi back. I don't think it's a coincidence that a couple of weeks or a month or whatever after Brandi throws Kim under the bus, all of a sudden the Mean Girls want Brandi back. Why? Because she's proving her allegiance to them. We all know Kyle Richards can't stand her own sister. We all know Lisa Rinna can't stand Kim Richards because Kim Richards ate her up and just left no crumbs and snatched all her edges in Amsterdam. Let's talk about the husbands. I don't think that's a coincidence. And her little story about driving to the emergency room doesn't make any sense. All right, here we go. When asked about the sloppiest drinker on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2, Brandi said, Dorinda Medley and myself. I love Dorinda because at the end of the day, she's not afraid to get sloppy either. She's not afraid to be herself. I think she's a sad drunk more than she goes to the mean side. But I think that she's hurting inside about other things and mourning the show. And, being at the house she had with her husband. I mean, it had to be difficult, but at the same time, I didn't see it. I was just like, B, I want to kill you. Wow. You want to kill Dorinda? Got it. But I do think Dorinda is more sad and is more hurting than anything else. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. What do you think about Brandi blaming the state of her life on Lisa Vanderpump? To me, I think it's delusional. I think it's projection. Girl, bye. And what do you think this $560,000 that Brandi is claiming Lisa Vanderpump owes her? Do you think that's for Vanderpump Rules? Do you think it's for that lawsuit that Lisa Vanderpump clearly either told the truth and Brandi didn't like it or didn't show up for? What do you think? And what do you think about the whole situation in general? Do you think Brandi needs to have charges pressed against her for her assault against Caroline? What do you think about the producer saying that she yelled out, "Are you going to F me tonight?" and everything else? And what do you think about her falling out with Kim Richards? Do you really think it was about her not dropping her off or picking her up at the emergency room and some photo being posted? Or do you think it's about the fact that Brandi wants to prove her alliance to the faux Fox 5, who at the end of the day will use you and abuse you? Put it down below. But before you do that, and stick around, Candy Can Scoop, because we have 2 more stories coming up. So before you do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. And check out our description box down below and join our newsletter. It is 100% for free. All right, so with that, you guys, let's move on to our next story, which is very disturbing. I should do a trigger warning.